Carl, 3-3 in the end. Was that the response that you were looking for tonight?
I think the first half was what we were looking for. Second half we got a little bit lost. Allowed Perth to dictate a little bit more to us. But sometimes that, when you're struggling a little bit, sometimes that confidence is easily knocked out of you. But saying that, very a lot more happier this week with the effort and our intent and desire to play this week.
Talk about confidence. The 3 goals, 2 set pieces, I thought poorly defended, and even the third goal. So how do you knock that lack of confidence out of him to bring back,
Yeah, look, as you say, the 2 set pieces and the third one from a goal kick, and it's just focus. You can't be switching off at when the ball is dead. You need to be organising and focusing, and making sure everyone's in the right position and doing their job. So it's disappointing to concede the 3 goals that we did, but we got caught a few times in that transition moments. We just have to maintain our focus for the full game.
And Nesta turned 18 today. He looked, for me, better as an impact player. Is that where you see him from here on in, or do you think you've got to rearrange him again?
Yeah, look, I think if I'm brutally honest, Nesta hasn't been anywhere near his level this year that we expected from him. Whether the pressure is taking its toll on him. He just has to start going back to enjoying his football. I just don't see enough happiness from him at the moment. Whether that pressure takes its toll, I suppose. It's a difficult position that he's in because everyone expects big things from him, and so it's important that we are very careful of how much we expect from him.
You've been around the game for a long time, and the announcement that he was going happened a couple of months ago. In football, we always speculate on this side of the fence. Do you think it should have been let go until the end of the season? Let the speculation carry on until both clubs say, OK, we'll announce it officially to take the pressure off him? Yeah,
look, I suppose no one's going to really know what was the best way for it to go. It did go on a long time. And then, we hoped that, once it got announced that he could then just go back to focusing on playing football. But he needs to just keep working, I think. And it's important that he, when he eventually goes there, that he keeps his head down and works hard. As I said, I just think this year maybe it's the pressure. I don't know. He's just been not his direct, dangerous player enough this year.
Just still on Nesta, do you think then getting away from the spotlight, all of that could be something that would help him as well?
Yeah, I think it will. Unfortunately, in this country, we make it very difficult for people that we see are going to have success. Instead of getting behind them and trying to help them, people will want to knock them down. So, and as I say, Nesta, I suppose he takes a lot of this in himself. He knows what's happening and around him, what people are saying, and that. So, it's been a very difficult year for him, and hopefully we can, keep pushing him this year to make sure that we give him a good grounding for what he's going to go on and do.
You mentioned you were happy with the response collectively. Obviously, there were a few changes tonight. I think last week after the game, you sort of hinted that Issa and Steph in the middle, you were really happy with that. How did you see that tonight? And then also, Ethan starting and Josh starting as well.
Yeah, look, as I said, we need a lot more energy, and I think we got that tonight. It's just unfortunate that Josh hasn't had a lot of minutes, so he sort of run out of legs, and Ethan had COVID last week, so he's coming back from that as well. So, but I think they did what I asked for them. They worked hard, they put pressure on the ball, and when we did that we had good control of the game.
And Carl, you mentioned how important it is for someone young like Nesta to enjoy his football. The club's obviously gotten a few transfer fees in. Something a club like the Mariners have done recently is invest on the sports psychology side of things. Would that be something you'd be interested for some of that incoming money to go towards?
Yeah, I think especially in the modern game now, and with all the social media and all the other bits and pieces that go with it, it's important that, as you say, we have professional people helping, because it is difficult, just not for Nesta, for all the young players that are coming through now. I think it's important that we look after not just the physical but the mental side of the game as well for all the playing group.
Another young player, Pana Kikianis, baptism on fire for him with Popper leaving. He has to step in after not playing, I think, since the last round of the NPL season, bad injury. How pleased are you? Because I feel he's held his own, but for him to get reward with getting that goal in the last minutes of the game today. Yeah,
look, I've known Pana. I worked with Pana when he was a young player, so I know his strengths. He's a great leader as well. He's very similar position to where Popper was when he first came in, and we had always planned for Pana to come in. He's been given an opportunity a little bit earlier than what we expected it to be, because we still got bits and pieces that we need to keep working with him. As you said, he had a long time out, so he needs to work on his fitness and his strength, because we know he can play. He's a very good passer of the ball, and he defended quite well tonight as well. So look, he'll keep him improving, and that's all we want. We want him to go out there and keep working, and we'll have a look again this week at his game and what areas we can help him with.
And this season's been characterised by your side's slow starts. You must have been over the moon, scoring 2 early goals. Did you see, I guess, going behind, and how does it feel? How do you address something like this?
Yeah, as I said, I think we got the reaction that we wanted from the playing group, and then it's just that focus, to concede from set pieces, and the way that we conceded the set pieces as well. It was just a couple of, as I say, just lapse of concentration as a group. And that's, sometimes, as I said earlier, this is what happens when you're struggling to find a win.
And just the final one from me, the Stefan Walk penalty, was that something discussed? Do you have your, penalty taker set? And how did you see Steph taking that penalty?
Yeah, it's, I suppose, Zach wasn't on. He's our normal penalty taker. Then it's up to the playing group that's out there. The ones that feel confident. Steph's taken penalties for the club before. So it's, up to the playing group.
You mentioned the response, as you mentioned a number of times. Was there anything you did differently on the track this week that might have led to that kind of response?
No real difference to the way we would normally work during the week. We have a good focus on what we need to improve on every week, and we also have a good focus on what our non-negotiables are. And I suppose over the course of the season, some of those non-negotiables haven't been met. But as I said, the last 2 weeks of training has been very good. We just haven't been taking that into games, and tonight was much better.
What was said at half time? In the rooms, what was said at half time?
Just to keep the belief and keep focus and keep pushing. Not to allow to keep our pressure high and our intensity high. But the first 10, 15 minutes, second half, we were a bit flat. We stopped playing forward, kept playing the ball sideways and backwards, and invited a lot of the pressure that we put ourselves under in the earlier part of the second half.